I used to believe that love could survive anything, even silence. For 4 years, Ben and I tried to have a child, hoping every month would bring a miracle. When it didn't, we turned to the man we trusted most, our longtime family friend and doctor, Steve. He suggested IVF gently. We agreed without hesitation. We wanted a child so desperately, and Steve had always been there for us. The IVF worked. 5 years passed, and our daughter filled our home with laughter. She was bright, beautiful, and full of questions that kept our hearts young. I loved her with a love that wrapped itself around my bones. Ben adored her, though sometimes I caught something else in his eyes, some quiet, hidden storm. When I asked if he was okay, he always brushed it away with a tired smile. There were phone calls, too, whispered conversations behind closed doors, sudden arguments that ended the moment I walked into the room. I didn't press him. I trusted my husband. I was wrong. The day everything unraveled did not arrive with warning. Sunlight streamed through our curtains. My daughter was humming while arranging her dolls, and I was folding laundry when a sharp knock landed at the door. When I opened it, my breath caught. Steve stood there, but it wasn't the same calm, confident doctor we knew. His face was pale, hollow, his eyes carrying something broken. Ben came behind me, and the second his eyes met Steve's, a heavy silence filled the room. We let him in, though my heart whispered that we shouldn't. He sat down slowly, as if the weight on his shoulders was too much. And then, in one long, trembling breath, he confessed everything. He said our daughter was his child, not Ben's, but the result of his own choice, his own sperm, given without my knowledge, but with Ben's acceptance. My husband knew he had known since the procedure. They had spoken about it. Steve said Ben begged him for help when the sperm test came back hopeless, and Steve agreed, wanting to help his friend. But they never told me. They decided silence was better. I felt my world tilt. My fingers went numb. My heartbeat rang loud in my ears. But Steve wasn't done with tears gathering, he said, since the death of his wife and 2 sons in a car accident 3 months ago. His voice cracked as he spoke their names. He said losing them left a hole so deep he could barely breathe. And that after their funeral, he couldn't stop thinking about the only child in the world who still carried his blood, my daughter. He said he didn't come to cause pain, but he wanted to be part of her life. He wanted to claim what he had left. He wanted connection. He wanted hope. He wanted her. I sat frozen, holding on to the edge of the sofa like it was the only thing keeping me alive. My daughter sensed something was wrong and climbed into my lap, her small arms wrapping around my neck. I held her tighter than I ever had in my life. I looked at Ben, my husband, my partner, the man who should have stood beside me with truth instead of secrets. His eyes were lowered. He couldn't even look at me, no denial, no defense. He knew. He had always known. The betrayal settled into my chest like a stone so heavy it hurt to breathe. Without a word, I stood up, carrying my daughter in my arms. I didn't look at Steve, whose tears were falling freely now. I didn't look at Ben, who sat stiff and ashamed. I simply walked out. The sunlight outside felt harsh, too bright for the darkness inside me. My daughter clung to me, confused and crying, but I kept walking. I didn't know where I was going. I only knew I had to leave, away from lies, silence, and a man at my door who wanted to claim the child I carried, birthed and raised. All I had was my daughter's warm little hand gripping mine. And for now, that was enough.